Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing this evening? Well, I
I'm
don't know. What
it's
time is it where you are?
3 o'clock where I am.
3 o'clock. Okay, it's 5 o'clock here. So, good afternoon to you.
Hello.
I am Kimberly Wilson, and I will be conducting our interview this afternoon.
Okay.
All right. So, I am going to go ahead and get us started. So, we shall begin. So, first of all, let me just say congratulations to you. It is such an honor to have the opportunity to interview you. I am very humbled and honored. And I'm just going to ask a few questions just for our audience, our CTE audience, to get to know you just a little better. So, I'll begin our first line of question. First question is, tell us a little bit about your background and how you became involved in CTE.
Yeah, so I'm in year 21 of education. I'm a fourth year Arizona native, which is pretty rare out here. And I really believe in educating students in our community and trying to keep them here. Um, I started my CTE journey in high school out of necessity. It was me, my mom, and my sister. My mom was a single parent and she worked a lot. And so I ended up taking a home ec class to learn how to cook better because I was the one doing most of the cooking and it was pretty basic. So my ninth grade year, I took that class to try and learn some more cooking skills, which it helped greatly. And then fast forward to my senior year, I needed to work to help the family financially. And so I joined what at the time was called HERO, Health Occupations Related Health, ed, Home Economics Related Occupations, so that I could get that last credit I needed for graduation, but still leave early and work. So that was kind of my introduction into the CTE world. When I started teaching, I was an English teacher, but I had lived my whole life around skilled trade people. My mom was in the phone company, so I knew a lot of linemen. My dad had worked in warehouses and some manufacturing. So it was really a lifestyle I learned. And so I just gradually partnered up with some of those CTE teachers because I wanted to learn more and I wanted to see what their kids were doing. So I ended up chaperoning field trips and different things like that. um, the district that I actually work in now, they sponsored a grant called the CTE Academic Integration Grant, and it's where our head CTE teacher basically created a grant or applied for this grant for academic integration, so CTE and academics, and I was a representative for English. And so we, for 2 years in a row, were awarded this grant where we integrated um, future ready skills, CTE skills into each academic area. And that was a great program for me to really kind of get in there. When I moved into the counseling world, I switched schools and I became the International Baccalaureate counselor and the CTE counselor. So it was a lot. And a lot of my IB kids were in ag, and I didn't grow up around ag. I didn't know ag. So I really started to learn more with ag. And I had a great teacher that I was able to work with at that school who really just pulled me in like I was family, like I had been there forever, going on field trips, inviting me in the classroom to work in the greenhouse. I judged CTSO competitions. And so that really solidified me into like, okay, this is kids need to know more about this. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. And now I work at a CTE school. We do the students spend half of their day here with their career training program, and then half of their day at their graduating high school with their academics. So our kids are in two schools, and that's where I work now.
Wow. Well, let me just say this. You are certainly deserving of this award for being Counseling and Career Development Professional Award winner. And so, again, as I said, I'm just really humbled and honored to be able to speak with you this evening and to know that you got your start in family and consumer sciences. And so that's what I teach. So I'm
Oh,
very
nice.
passionate about it. I'm really excited that I have the opportunity to talk to you. Question number two. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what are some of your proudest accomplishments you have had as a career guidance counselor professional?
Yeah, so I mentioned I'm a counselor at it's called a CTED, Career and Technical Education District. In Arizona, we have 14 of those where kids come. So I'm a counselor at one of those districts, and I've been here for 7 years. And I'm also the assistant chair on the Arizona School Counselor Board of Directors. So I'm pretty involved in the counseling world. And I feel that what I do is I connect the students to their now, to their future, letting them see, okay, this is what you're doing now, and these are the opportunities that you have, really to show them all of the pathways they have to reach their goals. So with that, there are a couple of programs that I run that I'm really proud of. The first one is Jumpstart to College and Career through CTE. It started out really small, on a Saturday, like conference style, where I brought in college reps, a couple people talking about financial literacy. I had a parent financial aid session where kids came to campus and went like conference style through it. Did that for a couple of years. It went district wide. Now all 4 campuses in my district participate in this event. And we just had a lot of feedback from students in the post-event survey saying, I wish this wasn't on a Saturday. Some of our kids drive an hour to get here each day. So coming an extra day on a Saturday just wasn't feasible. And so I had worked with my administration to figure out, okay, how can we do this during the campus day so that all students have access to it? And it's a little challenging because we have 5 different sessions. Our programs run from 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. And so with kids in different sessions. And so we had worked out how to do it conference style on campus during the day, and COVID hit. So it was a big pivot of how am I going to change this? And so I moved it virtual. I was able to create a graphic through Canva and links, and they basically, the first year it was called Create Your Future Through the Game of Life. And it looked like the Game of Life game board where they went through different video presentations about post-secondary opportunities, scholarships, financial literacy, and kind of mapped out the next few years for them. It worked so well. Students really liked it, got feedback that they wanted more videos. And so this is going to be the 4th year that it's going to be virtual. It's going to have about 60, 70 videos. So year 1, we started with 15 videos, and now we're up to about 60 where kids want. We're going to split it between 11th grade and 12th grade because we've learned that 12th grade, when they do it, they're like, I already know this stuff. I don't need to know this. So we're going to separate it to make sure that kids are really being targeted for the information they need at their grade level. And so I'm just excited. Kids get excited about it. Teachers get excited about it because it presents all of the different opportunities they have and then different resources on how to get them there. So that's one thing. The second thing, when I came to this CTED, we were still really small. Campuses and campus counselors were relatively new. And it was just kind of assumed that I would really just be here for career guidance, that I wouldn't be needed for academic, university scholarship, all of that other stuff. Well, in surveying my students and talking to my students, like because they were in transit, they were missing a lot of that stuff. We've also seen that social emotional has really kind of ramped up. And so I'm doing that. So working with my administration based off of a district theme, culture of safety, where we had a week where they really wanted us to focus on student safety so they felt mentally, physically, emotionally safe on campus, born out of anti-bullying legislation. And so I went and I said, hey, I want to take it further. I don't want it to just be 1 week. I want to create like a whole, campus culture idea. And so we created community of growth. And it was really to make sure students felt connected, respected, and safe, that they not only thought that we heard and saw them, but that they felt seen and listened to as well. And so we went through that for a year. I got really good feedback, and I said, this isn't enough. So since then, working with my administration, we've now included teachers in that, staff in that, community members, industry partners, families. And so it's really developed into a campus culture where we want everybody to feel like we're family and they feel seen and heard. With that, we've done some great community events. For the last 3 years, we've worked with a company that works with homeless youth. And so over the last 3 years, we've been able to donate almost 300 meals around Thanksgiving time to feed homeless teenagers and their families. We run a winter wonderland where we bring in students in McKinney-Vento, our Title I, and afford their parents the opportunity to get Christmas presents while we have them paint ornaments and visit Santa so that parents can do what they need to. Our hairstyling program offers free haircuts. We've really worked to involve not just our students, but like our whole community, because I know that if we're not building partnerships with every single stakeholder, then we're truly not serving our students. And so that probably has been my biggest, most proud accomplishment, is helping to create that community of growth, so that we're all working to basically raise our students. It takes a village, and that's our village.
Yeah, and that's really awesome, when you can get everybody to understand the importance of it and to buy in, and you have a whole community that's working together, for the greater good and cause of students and your community. And so, yes, I can see why that is your proudest moment. And you said something earlier. You said that you had to segue, especially when the pandemic came. And so, this question, um, is sort of geared to that. And so, we know we had a pandemic and we went into a pandemic, and, now we're out of the pandemic. And while we're still adjusting ourselves to really moving back into a culture where we were before pandemic. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you see that your students face today? And what are some of the things that you all are continuing to do to prepare them for their futures? And how do you see yourself as a counselor? And you've shared a lot of what it is that you're doing, but what is it that you are continuing to do, maybe enhancing and adding to what you've already done to prepare your students for post-secondary education and or career path?
Yeah, so I think the pandemic brought out a lot of things that we weren't expecting. A lot of people talk about this academic gap and academic loss, and I'm seeing that, but I'm seeing more of the socialization, communication gap more than I'm seeing the academic gap. Our kids are less confident with who they are and their abilities. So getting them to speak publicly, or even when we run mock interviews, when we have industry partners come in, trying to get them to take the initiative. And so really they're just less confident. We live in a society where if they don't have an immediate answer or they don't like it right away, then they move on to the next thing. And so we had a good opportunity, I think, when the pandemic happened, to really change education, and we didn't. It went right back to what it always was. And so I think that we need to work a little harder to make sure that we're engaging our students in that communication, getting them more comfortable. How do you shake a hand properly? Why is it important to look an interviewer in the eye and not look down at your feet? And so really just kind of working with those skills with students, but then modeling it and showing them why it's important. I think also knowing your students, and I don't mean knowing them each individually. Counselors have large caseloads, so I don't know how possible that is, but knowing them generally, understanding this generation, and what gets them to tick and what gets them excited, because we're not really that different. Work ethic is work ethic, and I see it in my students. I have 750 kids on this campus, and they have good work ethic. So it's not part of that, oh, this generation. I think there's still that perception that young kids don't want to work, but you don't know what you don't know. And so we have to teach them hard work. We have to teach them responsibility, priority management. And so really working on that, working on how do you study? Like, we know a lot of kids go to college and then it's just not as easy. So teaching them here in a safe environment, those life skills that when they go out into the world on their own, they're more confident with. And so I think that's really important, not just for counselors, but I think all educators, to know your students, know where to meet them, and then know how to move forward.
Yeah, and I think that is so important what you said in terms of, the ability to socialize, to be able to communicate, that confidence piece. And so I think you are so point on when you say that. And so when it is clear, right, that you are truly passionate about what you do and your students that are on your campus and the ones that you work for, and you shared a little bit with us earlier on about, where uh, your desire and passion comes from. But give us just a little more, like, where does that passion truly, come from within? And why is it that, you see that CTE is an important component, really a critical component when we talk about education as a whole?
So I think the number one thing for me is I know that CTE offers so many opportunities, endless opportunities. We know a student who finishes a program, who's a completer or a concentrator, either one, can go into the workforce and be ready, can go into the military and be ready, can go to a tech school or apprenticeship and be ready, can go to community college and be ready, to go to a university and be ready. We know that CTE prepares kids as the it's really, in my opinion, the only academic opportunity that prepares kids for career and
Yes.
college. If you're
Yes.
preparing for your career, you're preparing for the post-secondary that you need.
Hmm.
We need to stop pushing everybody into one pathway. We are not a one size fits all. And I think that CTE does a really good job of explaining that to our students. One of the really big things that I'm passionate about because of my upbringing is CTE is an economic balancer. I grew up very poor. We would say free lunch at this point, a very low income family. And I know the challenges and the barriers that come with your family not, making a lot of money for some of those extra things. And CTE, they put their blinders on. They don't care. I don't want to say they don't care, but it doesn't matter that your family only earns $20,000 a year. You're going to come in, and if you're a hard worker and you're going to earn those certifications, you have the opportunity to change your life trajectory because of CTE. That also means that somebody comes from a higher income family can do the same thing. It's equal opportunity, no matter what your background, socioeconomic, ethnic. You go in, you work hard, you put in the time, and you have the ability to change your life. And so for me, I missed out on a lot of those opportunities when I'm younger. And so I'm on a life mission to tell every kid of all of the opportunities they have and the ability that it has to change their life.
Yes, awesome. That is just so awesome. Um, and so our last and final question is, what part of being an ACTE member do you value most? And what would you say to someone who is considering becoming a member?
So there's two things that are really, really important to me with ACTE. It's the membership. It's counselors, it's teachers, it's administrators, it's industry partners, organization. It's so many people in one. And so your networking capability just it blows up from there. The ability to cross collaborate with other people. The people that I've met through ACTE, from CTE directors to teachers to administrators that I've been able to work with, across my whole state, really just speaks volumes of ACTE and the power of connection that it has. I also like that no matter where you are in ACTE, if you are an entry level member and you take advantage of those resources, or all the way up to the president at the national level, the amount of involvement and engagement in ACTE meets the needs of every level of its members. You don't have to be the president of your state, region, or national chapter. You can be a member and still have access to all of the resources they have. So it really provides so much for so many people. And I would say that for people that are, wondering whether or not they should get involved, because it's just, you have access to so much. As I said earlier, I'm the assistant chair of my state counseling association. Um, I have access to counselors through that, and so if I want access to administrators, teachers, I have to go to a lot of different professional organizations where in the CTE world, I just go to ACTE and I have access to all of that. There's several professional developments, conferences. There's just a lot to offer for all of the members. So that's what I would say is you get the most bang for your buck being part of ACTE because of the advantages that it provides.
Yes, and you're so right about that. It's just a an amazing organization to be a part of because we get to see so much, we get to experience so much, and so it again, Christina, it is so evident and obvious as to why you were selected to be our counseling and career development professional award winner because your passion and your determination to make sure that young adults, from all ethnic backgrounds and socioeconomic areas, that they have an opportunity to have access. And so, again, as I said, I am truly honored to have the opportunity to speak with you and learn more about who you are and what you do and how you contribute to career and technical education. And so, congratulations again to you, and thank you so much. But I do want to extend to you a few minutes if you'd like to just give some closing remarks before we leave you this afternoon.
Oh goodness, I don't know. I'm very grateful. I know that there are a lot of hardworking people in the same position that I am. I was lucky to be recognized, but I work with a lot of amazing people, and I couldn't do it without the support of all of those people from coworkers and peers, my administrators, district leadership. I just say keep doing the good fight for our students, and hopefully, I would love to recognize everybody for their good work and hard work. So I'm just thankful for the people that I get to work alongside and the students that I have the opportunity to share with.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Christina. I wish you and your family a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you at our next ACTE Visions Conference, which will be in San
San
Antonio,
Antonio.
Texas.
Yes.
Yes. So listen, have a great afternoon,
Thank you.
and we will see you again. And congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciated talking to you.
You are so welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you.